Algebra 1, Section 1.4, Equations and Inequalities. Couple goals today. We're checking solutions and solving equations using mental math. And we're going to do the same with inequalities. It begins on page 24 in the textbook. Handful of definitions to start. The first one is an equation. An equation is formed when an equal sign is placed between two expressions. That's the key right there. An equation has an equal sign. There's something on the left, something on the right, an equation sign, an equal sign in the middle. That's the difference between an equation and we've been looking at expressions up till this point, 2x plus 1. That's an expression. 12 times 3, that's an expression. When you put an equal sign in the middle of them, it becomes an equation. So in order to have an equation, it has to have an equal sign. A solution of an equation is the value that when you replace a variable, again, don't copy all this word for word, everybody. This is just the exact definition. If you can read all of this red writing up here and you could say that in 3 or 4 words, that's all you need. Solution of an equation is the value that makes it true. The value that makes it true. So 2x plus, we'll do it in one step, I guess. X plus 2 equals 3. You know that the value of this, if you add 1 to 2, you get the number 3. So the solution would be x is 1. And that's what we're working on today, solutions of equations. Inequality is formed with an inequality symbol, such as that symbol right there is called less than. It's placed between two expressions. Some people get less than and greater than confused. An easy way to remember it, look what less than you can do like this. Less than. Less than. Regarding inequality symbols, the point, here's the point of it, always points to the smaller side. Where the opening is larger, look how much larger the opening is here. That's where the number is larger. That's the bigger value on that side. So even if you were to turn this around and make it a greater than symbol, the point is still pointing to the smaller one, and the big opening is still the larger side. That would be a greater than symbol. But in order for it to be an inequality, unlike an equation which has an equal sign, an inequality has an inequality symbol. Less than, greater than, less than or equal to, greater than or equal to are considered inequalities. A solution of an inequality is a number that produces a true statement. So x plus 1 is greater than 3. X plus 1 is greater than 3. Then you know that it is the number 2, but it's not just the number 2. It's x is greater than 2. Because anything plus 1 that's greater than 2 is going to give you the number 3. If we say 4 plus 1, it's going to be greater than 3. 1 plus 1 is not, though. Example number 1 says substituting to check possible solutions. This is where the mental part comes in. It says check whether the numbers 1, 2, and 3 are solutions of the equation 2x plus 3 is equal to 5. Now, this is a two-step equation, and we haven't talked about undoing equations yet, but mentally you can think about it. What do I have to add to 2 and then, what do I have to multiply by 2 and then add 3 to get the number 5? So it says substitute each possible solution into the equation. If both sides of the equation are the same value, then the number is the solution. And here are the 3 numbers that you check. Plug the first number in, 2. 2 times 1 is 2. 2 plus 3 is 5. You get 5 equals 5. So it is a solution. When you plug in the number 2, though, you see 2 times 2, this step here, is 4, plus 3 is the number 7. Look, 7 is not equal to 5, so it's not a solution. Same thing with 3. 2 times 3 gives you the number 6, and 6 plus 3 is the number 9. 9 is not equal to 5 as well, therefore it is not a solution. So if it comes out to be true, it's a solution. If it does not come out to be true, or if it's a false statement, it is not a solution. So 1 is, and both 2 and 3 are not. Example number 2 says using mental math to solve a real-life equation now. It says a box of pencils costs $3.08. A package of pens costs $3.45. And a notebook costs $2.79. You have $8. About how much more money do you need? So if we need to buy all 3 things, it says you can ask yourself the question. The total cost equals 8 plus what number of dollars? So anytime you say what number of dollars or anything like that, what number, that means you don't know something. That means you represent it with a variable. So it says let X represent any additional money you need, and we're going to use rounding to estimate the total cost. So we have 3 plus 3.5 plus 3 equals 8, because that's the amount of money we have, plus how much? Here we go. How much we need? X is an unknown amount. So when we add up 3 plus 3.5 plus 3, we get 9.5. So 9.5 equals 8 plus X. 8 plus what equals 9.5? So it says because the total cost of the supplies is approximately 9.5 or $9.50, you can see that you need about $1.50 more. Again, remember with money, 9.5 means $9.50. And again, we're using rounding with all of this. 3 became simply $3. $2.79 became $3 as well. Notice the changes that is made. That became 3. This became 3. And since this says 345, that became 3.5. Notice the numbers became a lot easier to work in that more. And that's why it says at the end, you don't need exactly $1.50 more. You need about $1.50 more. Example number 3 says checking solutions of inequalities. Decide whether 3 is a solution to the inequality. X plus 5 is less than 9. So 3 plus 5. So all it says is we're deciding whether this number 3 is a solution. 3 plus 5 is less than 9. When you add 3 plus 5, you get the number 8. 8 is less than 9. Again, the trick with this symbol, if the point points to the smaller number, then it is correct. 8 is smaller than 9. Therefore, 3 is a solution. When you're checking it for the next one, it says 3 times X plus 2 is less than or equal to. Remember, when you see that symbol underneath it like that, it means or equal to. So 3 times 3 is the number 9, and 9 plus 2 is the number 11. So you have 11. It's not less than 11, but since it says or equal to underneath, now 3 is a solution of the inequality for B. 3x plus 2 is less than or equal to 11. And then the last one, x minus 1 is greater than C. Plugging in 3. 3 minus 1 gives you the number 2. So you have 2 is greater than 4. Notice with this one, the point points to the larger number. We know that number 4 is greater than the number 2. Therefore, it's not a solution. This is not a true statement at the end. It has to be a true statement. And both A and B had true statements. 8 was less than 9, and 11 was less than or equal to 11. But for C, 2 is not greater than 4. And then we have 3 checkpoint problems. It says check whether the given number is a solution of the inequality. Here's your given number. It kind of falls after the problem, after the semicolon. So 4D plus 1 equals 9. So when you plug in 4 times D, we know that means 4 times 2. That's substituted it in. Plus 1 equals 9. So we substituted a given value just like we've been doing. 4 times 2 is the number 8 plus 1. And right there, all we did was multiply because of order of operations. And then 8 plus 1 is 9 equals 9. We added, again, because of order of operations. So since that's a true statement, it is a solution. Yes, it is a solution. The next one says 5n minus 7 is less than 23. 5n minus 7 is less than 23. We're plugging that value 6n in place of n. So in place of n, we're going to substitute it in. Again, we use that term plug in a lot, just means substitute. So 5 times 6 minus 7 is less than 23. All we did for that one was we substituted in a given value. Then you need to do 5 times 6, which is 30 minus 7 is less than 23. Right there, we multiplied 5 times 6. So we multiplied because of order of operations told us to multiply first. Then the last step, we have to subtract. 30 minus 7 is going to give us the number 23 is less than 23. We subtracted because of order of operations. And unlike the last one, which was a true statement, this one is not a true statement. 23 is not less than 23. Had it said 23 is less than or equal to 23, we would have been in good shape. But it is not less than it. It is the same amount. Therefore, it is not a solution. And then for the last checkpoint problem, it says x squared plus 6 is greater than or equal to 55. We're going to plug in that value again. We're going to plug in the number that comes after the semicolon, 7. So we have is 7 squared plus 6 is greater than or equal to 55. Substituted it in, a given value of 7. Before you do any addition, you have to do exponents according to your order of operations. Therefore, 7 squared means 7 times 7. That's evaluating your exponents. And all we did right there was exponents, because order of operations says to do that first after parentheses. 7 times 7 gives you the number 49. So we have 49 plus 6 is greater than or equal to 55. And that's still the same step, evaluating the exponents. So the last step, we do 49 plus 6, and we get the number 55 is greater than or equal to 55. That was addition because of order of operations. And this one is a true statement because 55 is not greater than 55, but it says or equal to. That's the key, since it has that bar. Unlike number 2, this one says or equal to 55. So since it is a true statement, it is a solution.